Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to repot some plants. I've got my aloe aristata that needs transplanting, or doesn't need it, but I want to put that into a nicer pot. My diamond spathiphyllum, I want to put that in a bigger pot just because it's drying out. It's drying out quicker now, and like the foliage just wants to get bigger, so I want to put it into a bigger pot so that it can hold on to moisture for a little longer. And then my Alocasia Black Velvet, I want to try and transplant that and put it into pon. I bought some pon, and I've heard a lot of people have success with this in like pon and like semi-hydro media. So I'm going to try that. I do think, right, it's looking good. I do think the only issue that I'm having with this really is the temperature, because in my house it keeps getting pretty low temperature. But it's not like declining massively, it's just not growing any new leaves. But I expect that is because of the temperature, not because of the media it's in. It's in, I think this is ericaceous compost with sphagnum moss and perlite. So it is nice and airy, and it is kind of damp right now actually, but I think I watered that maybe 2 or 3 days ago. So I've got some ready mixed compost, although I didn't really prepare any compost for this. I think it'll be all right. It's probably already in, basically. Yeah, it's just multi-purpose. Is that oh no. We've got root mealybugs. Yes, there is root mealybugs in here. Oh, dang it. I did not know about that. Okay. Well, I didn't plan for that, but it's good that I looked. Let me try and show you one. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that. The speck. Maybe I'll try and get a picture after. Yeah, it's definitely a root mealybug, and it's alive because I just squished it. Well, it's not alive anymore. Okay, well, I'm going to do that last so that I don't infect anything else with root mealy, because root mealy is something that is, I've never personally treated it before, but you have to like give it a soil drench with pesticide and hope that that kills all of the root mealy. But obviously you are never gonna fully. There's one on the table. There's 2 on the table. 3. There's 3 on the table. Oh no, there's babies. I'm gonna try and show you guys what I'm looking at, because then you could probably identify them in your containers. Right, so that thing there is a root mealy. Let me show you some others. There's like a tiny one there at the end of my finger. There's also, where did it go? A tiny one there. You can just see, yeah, you can just see like the little antennae things on it. There's a baby one there, and then there's a big one there. You can see its little leg moving. Oh my god. Is that his leg? What is that? Wait. It's just weed. Yeah, look, you can see its little legs going. Let me try and flip it over so that, oh, I don't want to touch its wee. Let me try and flip it over so that we can see it walk. There we go. Oh, now he's got shy. Okay, so I hope you guys could see what I saw. I think you can, but that was literally from me taking the plant out of its pot and then putting it back in without disturbing the soil, and there's like 7 mealies on my table, so that would be really easy for them to spread to other plants. So I'm going to need to wipe this up. I don't have anything. Oh yeah, I do. My plant cloth. And I don't have any pesticide. No, I don't think. I think I've got SB Invigorator somewhere, I think, but I don't actually use pesticides for my plants. Not because I like I don't know. I don't have any, I don't think. Anyway, off on a tangent. I'm just gonna try and kill these. I'm like just gonna wipe them up and squeeze the cloth and hope that that does the trick. Okay, so yeah, that was interesting. Oh, so if you do have those in your plants, give it a soil drench with pesticide. I'm not going to say that neem oil is going to work for that, because I personally don't think that it will work very well. But if you want to try it, go ahead. Yeah, but root mealies are really difficult to get rid of because you can't actually see inside and throughout the roots, obviously making it a bit harder. Okay, cool. I'm glad that I know that now, because I can act on that and do something about it. Right, let's get to repotting something. I'm going to do my Spathiphyllum. This Spathiphyllum is Spathiphyllum diamond. It's had this flower for, I want to say, 4 weeks. Yeah, and at one point it started to look like it was dying. Let me try and show you properly. It was looking like it was dying, but it was actually just wilting because the plant needed watering, and now it's picked back up, and it honestly looks like it's going to be alive for another like 3 or 4 weeks. The flowers don't do much for me. I love the variegation on the leaf. That to me is what brings me the most joy from this plant. Oh, there's a baby. There's a baby growing. Oops, let me try and show you. I don't know if you're going to see it from there. Yeah, you can see it. This tiny, tiny green little dot. That's a baby. Right, okay. Right, I need to select what pot I'm going to put it into. So it's in this nice, well, it's just in a nursery pot, placed inside a nice grey terracotta pot. And I do have another terracotta pot, but it's not really much bigger. It's not really, although, like, it is bigger, but it's, I was honestly going to go a lot bigger than that. I was going to put it into this pot here. Let's get that out. I was going to put it into this pot, which is like dramatically bigger, but it would just mean that I don't need to water it for longer in between. But if I put it in that pot, I don't have a a cover pot for that, so maybe I will do it into this terracotta pot, but it's really not that much bigger. Let's let the deciding factor be what the roots look like. I'm expecting it to be I'm expecting there to be quite a lot of roots going around, but I don't think it's going to be massively root bound, but let's pray for no mealybugs. Okay, yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, it's not too root bound really. Maybe I will put it into this other terracotta pot, and then I can just repot it again when it needs it. There is a bug, but it's not a root mealybug. It's like a springtail. If you guys see tiny little, it's not going to be very descriptive at all. If you see any tiny little white looking bugs that are like this tiny and it's not a thrip, I mean, if you're sure it's not a thrip and it's in the soil, and it's most likely a springtail, they're good for the soil, good for the like little biosystem, because they help to break down the organic matter, releasing the nutrients, making it available for the plant to take up. So they're good, but don't mistake that for a thrip, because they do look similar to thrips, but they move a lot faster than thrips, if you know how fast a thrip moves. Right, okay. I'm just going to pop that to one side. I don't see any root mealies. It looks healthy. You can see a really healthy system. It's not going round and round and round, so it's not like root bound. Because the ends of the roots are still kind of, you know, pointing outways, when I pot it up, it's really going to spread out nicely, and it's not going to follow its compact habit. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, there are a couple of dead roots in there, to be honest, but I'm not going to remove them because I'll let the bugs deal with those, and yeah. Cool, okay, it's looking all right. I don't know if you can take root cuttings off of Spathiphyllums. I'm going to check that out because I don't know. I need to expand my propagation. Like, what did I see the other day? I saw that you can propagate anthuriums with the leaf, and I'd never known that before. So I want to try that. I don't own any anthuriums, but I do want to try that. Right, okay. If I put the camera down a little bit, you can see me in the pot. I'm going to use the soil mix I've got is a mixture of many different soils that I've just all put in together. This is majority, it does have cocoa in it, it's got multi-purpose compost and a lot of perlite. And there's some sphagnum moss in there. Just gonna pop that in the bottom. So this is gonna be like quite moisture retentive because there's a lot of there's a lot of compost in there. So there's the ratio is gonna be really high compost and very little sphagnum moss and perlite. That's pretty perfect, I think. I want to get rid of that yellow. Maybe I'll get that afterwards. And then I'm just gonna backfill. This really is not much of a pot upgrade, but it'll do for now. And we're in the middle of winter, so it's not really gonna be putting too much growth on. So it's not gonna dry out too quickly. I still don't know what I'm going to do about those root mealies. Well, this is hardly an upgrade of pot, sorry, little Spathiphyllum, but... Right, I'm just pushing gently. It probably looks like I'm pushing quite hard, but I'm not. I'm just pushing. I just want to make sure it's all going the whole way down the length of the depth of the pot. You know, I don't know why I'm trying to explain what I'm doing. I'm going to take those 2 bits out. Cool, and then and we've got a saucer for it. So it looks, yeah, that looks a lot better actually. Yeah, and I actually think I prefer the fact that the contour of the pot follows the contour of the leaves, whereas this pot was a lot more upright, like a lot more straight edged. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, that looks really nice. Okay, let's try next. Let's try to sort out no, there was a couple of little plants I wanted to take out of my propagator that I want to pot up. So if I do that next before messing around with the mealybugs, then that gives me the best chance of not spreading the mealies. So let's scoop this up. I'm actually not going to put that back into there. I'm going to put that in there so that I don't put it like, I don't know if there's any mealies on the table still. There shouldn't be, but okay, I need to go get the propagator. It's like over there on the floor. I'll be right back. Right, okay, so here is the propagation box. I won't give you a proper view of it, oops, because I think I've done a recent video on this anyway. Oh no, my little container of cuttings. I did put this into a different propagator, but it wilted really quickly, and then so I put it back in here because the humidity is like 100% in here, and then it bounced back. So I'm going to leave these in here until they properly root, and then I'll take them out and try and transition them to a lower humidity environment. But I think what I want to take out of here, because like this looks like it looks super full, and it is full, but the majority of what's making it look full and casting a lot of shade is the Scindapsus in here. This is the Marble Queen. And then I've also got the Adansonii in here, the Monstera Adansonii, which I might take. I'm either going to take one of them out or both of them out. I think I might do the Adansonii first because it might be easier. And what I'm hoping is, because it's been in a super humid environment, each node is going to have a root. So what I'm going to do is just cut each node, plant it all into one pot so that multiple stems grow up. This could be a bad idea, could be a really good idea. Either way, I'm not massively fussed. I obviously don't want it to die, but this was just a cutting that I took. It wasn't like, I didn't go out of my way to get it, and I have had one in the past. I bought it to try and rescue it, and then that was back in the day when I had like hundreds of plants, and I did just neglect it, so it died. Anyway, I think I'm going to take the Monstera Adansonii out first. So let me try and do that without disturbing too much. There is like crazy amounts of stuff in here. It's just insane, but it's so cool. But I think, yeah, I want to get rid of the big things so that I can, one, continue to propagate small things, and two, I just think they're casting so much shade on the smaller plants that it's just it's causing problems. Could cause problems in the future. Well, this is rooted in here. Okay, let me... Oh, this is going to disturb so many things. I also took some tiny cut-ins of my... It's called the Mind Your Own Business. I don't know the Latin name. I need to learn it, but I took some cut-ins of that literally last night and put them in here. I've just placed them around. So that was also in the way. Let me... I'm going to gently tease it out. Try not to break any roots, but I'm sure I will. This is pulling up a lot of sphagnum moss with it, which is a good sign because that means it's really rooted. Oh, these roots are long. Right, I don't know how long this has been in here. It's been in here like a fair few, maybe... Oh, I can't even guess how long it's been in here. Like, I want to say like 2 or 3 months. Wow, that is pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to pop this to one side really quick, and then I'm going to quickly tidy up. Because some of these begonia cuttings have been dislodged from where they were. Okay, and that gives me a bit of space actually now. So there's some space in there so I can take more cuttings. Let me just pop that back in there. Oh, and I've got a cut in there of my ZZ Raven, because a lot of my other this is really going off track, but I took cut-ins in here of the ZZ Raven leaves like on their own, and they seem to be doing better. Like none of them are rotting off. They're just like producing their little like rhizome at the end at the moment. I think they do that and then they root and then they grow leaves. Whereas this has done none of those things, and in fact is actually just rotted at the end. So I think the single leaf is probably my preferred method, but that's the first time I've really tried doing a cutting like that. Anyway, right, let's get back to what I was doing. Where am I going to put this? Okay, let's try and balance it down there. Okay, right, let me... Okay, so this is the Adansonii cutting the leaves are all looking really good, like really, really good. And the roots are looking even better. So I'm just gonna cut in between each internode and then pot it all up into one pot. No, I was just thinking I could actually just plant it all into one pot anyway, but then it will still only grow from the growth point, whereas if I cut each one, they'll send up their own growth points. And now I'm trying to decide whether I want to plant it in soil or pon. I think I'm going to do it in soil just because the soil, like, I never feed my plants, and if you plant in pon, you kind of like need to feed them every now and again. So it'll be less maintenance if I put it into soil. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. What pot size? I might just use the pot that the Spathiphyllum was in. And then it'll be alright in there for a while. Like, some of these roots are super long. I could cut the roots, which sounds counterintuitive, but they will then grow more. But, okay. Let me try and... my camera doesn't really tilt that way, unless I turn it around and tilt it. No, I'm just going to do it in front of you. I'll just hold it up. Alright, so I'm just going to cut here. Cut a bit of that middle out because that'll just rot. Cut there. Cut a bit of the middle out because that'll rot. And then there. And again, a bit of the middle out because that'll rot. And then I'm going to leave those last bits on there because this root, although it's growing, it's got to support a lot more plant than the other roots. So if I leave them together, then it'll all support all of it and leaves me with a nice growth point. Cool, okay. So from that one cutting, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 potential plants. Well, they are individual plants now. They will then grow from the internode here. Yeah, look how long those roots are. Right, okay. And I'm just going to pop it all up into one pot, so it's going to be really cool. It's going to look good. Hopefully. The only thing I'm worried about, which I feel like is inevitable with this plant, is that once you reduce the humidity, it just, like, the new leaves end up not opening properly, and then, like, it sometimes is a bit of a downhill from there, but I'm not going to let that stop me this time. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because these have such long roots, I'm actually just going to hold them in the pot and then backfill around them rather than putting soil in there first, because, yeah, I'm just going to plant them all like this. Like, it's going to be a bit of a jangle, but I'm half tempted to cut those roots, but I feel like there's no point. That's gonna look alright. Like, I do like this plant, but I'm gonna want it growing up a moss pole in order for me to, like, maintain interest in it. And I'm actually gonna try and do that with a lot of my plants this year. That is one of my goals, is to have moss poles, especially with my melanochrysum, which is behind me. You can see it just to that side. Is it going to be left or right to you? I don't really know. I know you can't see it, but I'm sure you can guess what's happening. I'm just backfilling around the roots with the same mix that I was using for the Spathiphyllum, and making a mess at the same time, of course. I don't want to bury them deep because I don't want to bury the node. You can bury the nodes. It doesn't really, not deep obviously, but it's not going to kill the plant. They will just grow up through. I'm just trying not to bury the nodes too much because I've just cut open each node and it has a higher risk of getting rotten and nasty. Is that one leaning over? I pop this one around you, it will hold you up. These leaves also tear really easy. I didn't just tear one, but they do tear really easy. Okay, right, that'll do for now. And then when it does start to grow more, like once it's established and the leaves aren't dying because of the humidity change, like if it is successfully transplanted and looks good still, I'm going to get it a moss pole and try and grow up a moss pole. If not, we shall see. But it is a beautiful plant, and I feel like some of the hype is gone, like for this plant, but I think it's because a lot of people have trouble keeping them, like I was just saying, and I think that is why they're not as popular as they used to be. But it is gorgeous nevertheless. Cool, okay, that's done. I will give that a water in a bit, and I'm going to put it inside a propagator because I'm not risking having it outside of a propagator because I know what's going to happen. It's just going to wither and die. So, okay, I really don't want to. Oh, I'll do the alocasia next because I'm just going to put that into pon, which is very expensive. And I wanted to. So, in the summer or coming up, once my alocasias are looking a bit better again, I'm gonna put them into self-watering pots. But I was looking at getting self-watering pots, or not with the intention of buying them, but I was looking to see how much they were, and they're really expensive. So I was going to do a bit of a DIY and make my own self-watering pots, because if you look at what makes a self-watering pot, it's literally just the pot, and then there is like a little channel under here, like a channel that's like mesh, so that the water sits under the pot. I don't need to explain a self-watering pot to you, but what I'm saying is I think it's going to be pretty easy to make myself, because I could literally just like cut a big hole in the bottom, attach a 6cm pot, or just cut a 6cm pot in half or something, and cut loads of holes in the 6cm pot, glue it to the bottom so it's in like direct contact with the hole I've cut. And then when you fill in the media is obviously going to drop into this little 6cm pot as well, which is what sits in the water. And then that is what taps up the moisture into the pot. And that would cost me £0, but a little bit of time. Whereas the ready-made self-watering pots, I can't remember how much they were, but it was just a bit too much for a plastic pot. So I'm going to put a bit of time into actually making my own. And I'm a cheapskate, so I'll put it on my channel at some point. Yeah, I just need to come up with time to do it. Anyway, right, let's get to the alocasia. So this little alocasia, it's doing like, I can't say it's doing bad. It's like, it is beautiful, and it's still got 4 leaves. There are 3 plants in here, I think. And I really don't know that it's going to be a good idea for me to transplant this right now, and I'm sure someone's going to have something to say about it. But like, I did it to my Capria Red Secret last night. I transplanted it into pon, and it had like 1 root, which is obviously part of the reason it's doing not very good. But I'm just gonna do it, okay? Okay, so we do have some good roots. Okay, I'm just going to pop it out onto the side and then tease the roots off. You're not going to be able to see it, sorry. This is like just really very dense. Oh yeah, so I think it's actually like rotting. Before I come to any conclusion, let me take off more of the soil. There's actually 3 plants in here. Oh, there's a baby. There's 2. Whoa, there's babies. Babies. And they're not baby bugs this time, they're baby plants. Look, you see these 2 little nobules there? They are baby corms, and then there's another little baby corm right here. Oh, cool. And that's just on one, and it's the one that is rotten. Like this is, wait, no, that's got a little sac in it. The membrane. What is this video going to turn into? Okay, I don't really want to pull those little babies off, but oh no, they can stay on just like that. I do want to try and get this meshing off because you and I and everyone in this world, apart from the people that mass produce them, know how terrible they are for the plants. Okay, so there's one plant with 3 babies. So at least if the adult dies, I hope it doesn't, and it won't, I've got the babies. And hopefully there'll be some more babies in here. Okay, this one has 1 baby producing, but it's like still tiny. What is that at the bottom? Oh, another baby. That's a big baby. Okay, that's right at the bottom. That's quite a chunky one. It's right at the bottom. So I think I won't take it off, but when I plant it, I'll bring it back up to the surface a bit more. But these are just covered in this membrane that is like, it's just very restrictive. There we go, got it off. That. The roots are actually pretty good on it. I wasn't sure what to expect, honestly. And I feel like part of me is gonna regret messing with these. At the same time, I'm glad I got that membrane off, and I'm glad that, look, it's actually doing really well because of all those roots. Like it wouldn't, I was expecting this to have like, oh, I just knocked off a baby. I was expecting this to have very little roots. Right, there's a baby there, let's put that to one side. I'm just gonna gently shake it off. I'm not too worried about getting every single little piece of soil off because that's gonna do more damage than necessary right now. Just gently teasing off the soil, and then gonna try and get that membrane off. Okay, this one has no babies. Oh no, I keep saying that too soon. There's a baby. Just the one baby by the looks of it. Oh, there's 3 babies. See, and they're all stuck behind this membrane. So you can just, yeah, you can see it there. 1 baby, 2 baby, and then the other one was there. So I don't really know what like the best thing to do with these are. Like, oh, my choice was taken out of my hands. It dropped off. So I was trying to figure out whether to take it off or leave it on, but it dropped off. Okay, this video is getting long. Oh, there's another baby under there. Cool, okay, so they're doing good, which means maybe I shouldn't have messed with them. But it's too late now, I've messed with them. Because I did see online that someone, I don't remember where I saw it, when transplanting your alocasias into pon, it does or can cause all the foliage to die off as they like the shock of the transition. So hopefully that doesn't happen with this one, these 3. But if it does, it's, you know, it's not the end of the world. And the fact that there's so many babies on these means that they were actually doing better than I was thinking they were, which is good. So the only reason they're looking so terrible right now purely is the temperature in this house, which gets down to, the other day it was 8 degrees in the living room Celsius where the plants are kept. So that's obviously not ideal. I think it's recommended that you don't let plants go below 15 degrees. Look at this tiny baby I just found. What do I even do with that? Because I feel like that's gonna, like, if that's in pon, is that not just gonna get lost and like dry out because it's not really gonna have much contact with the soil? Unless I plant some of the babies back into the soil. I don't know. I've looked for advice online about keeping alocasias, and everyone tells you different things. Some people say put them in just sphagnum moss. Some people say multi-purpose compost works really well. Some people say pon is the best thing. And I've got 3 plants. I could try all 3. I'm going to put them... I could put those 2 in pond and then keep this one that's looking this way. I could put this one back into this mix with a couple of the babies that are broken off and see what happens as a bit of an experiment. I just don't know that putting the babies in into pond is going to be the best thing for them because they're so small and they're really not going to have much contact with the soil. So I'm going to put this one back in here. I'm sure there's people in the screen telling me don't do that. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure I've got all this. Oh, there's another baby in there. See, that's the thing, right? So the babies produce, some of the babies are being produced in this like really dense part where the propagation was made. And I'm thinking like, if I left them there, would they grow or would they just rot off? I'm sure they know what they're doing, but don't know, you know. And there are so many babies, like, anyway, I'll stop saying the same thing again and again and again, but there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 babies that are the ones that have fallen off. There is still another 3 attached to those 2, and there's still another 2 attached to this one. So it's not bad going. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one in this pot, and then I'm gonna plunge those bulbs into this pot with them. I'm not gonna pack this in tight. I'm gonna just push it really loosely because I do not want them to rot off. So they really need that, like the gaseous exchange, like the roots need oxygen as well as water. So okay, so I filled it up to there, and then I'm going to plant some of these babies in. That's really cool. I always see these being sold online. I'm sure the Alocasia Black Velvet has probably gone down quite a lot in price now, but I'm sure people are selling these for like £10 each, these little nuggets. And I'm just going to stick them in the soil and hope that they grow. I'm not going to plant them deep, I'm going to plant them so the surface is just covered. If you guys have advice on these, because I've literally never grown these before in my life, I'm just pushing them in, covering the surf, like the tops of them, just because I don't want to push them too far down in case they rot off and don't feel the need to grow up. But there we go. They're all in there now, so I need to remember. I'll remember, and it's on video, so I won't remember, but it's on video, so if I need to remind myself, I can. Okay, cool, right. Now to put these in pond. This video is getting long, and I don't know that my phone has enough storage for it, but let's do this. Okay, I'm going to try and shake off a bit more of the dirt, and there's babies. Because when you do transplant into pond, you do need to remove as much of the soil as possible. Oh, this tiny, like that, you see that tiny little bulblet at the top? That just fell off. And another one. Maybe I should stop shaking it. I'm just surprised that they're dropping off when I'm literally shaking it vigorously. Right, let's just push those into that soil and hope that something happens with them. They're probably too young to really do much on their own. Right, do I put them into this pot? It's very big. I think that's probably the right size. I think if it was any smaller, oh, I don't know. I think that probably is the right size. Plus, if I do put them in this pot, then I could do the self-watering system like I said I was going to. With this pot, it'd be quite easy because it's a big pot, and I wouldn't necessarily need to take them out of the pot to cut out a hole and attach a smaller pot. I also need to find a cover pot that's going to fit that. Anyway, this is like the only size pot I have, so I don't know why I'm acting like I have a choice. Oh, but the holes in the bottom are like the size of pond. going to just fall out. Whatever. And that's good as well. The only other pots I have that size. I could just put them up individually. That might be better. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll save the larger pot for when I do the self-watering system. Okay, I'm gonna try and change the camera angle because you're just looking at me and rather than what's going on here. Right, okay, that is much better. Now you can actually see what I'm doing, and I probably should have changed this camera angle a long time ago. But there's that plant there with its little babies under here. Then we've got this guy here, looking a lot nicer, although there is that happening, and it is what it is. Right, and then there's a baby on there. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of pond in the bottom. And then shake gently. Yeah, there's a bit of soil, but that's not too bad. Put two about there. I don't know whether these babies are going to upright themselves or whether I should upright them whilst I'm doing this. I'll upright that one. And then I'm going to backfill. Oops. There we go, at least it's holding itself in place now. I'll link, no, I won't link, I'll put on screen the type of pond that I bought. I've got it on Amazon, and it's like, it's expensive enough that if this doesn't work, I'm not going to buy any more because it's a lot more expensive than like soil. So, but if it works as well as people say it does, and I do use stuff similar to this at work, and that works really well, and that my work obviously use that for every plant they have. So hopefully it works as good as, I'm sure it does, it's basically the same thing. Right, and same thing. Okay. I think that there will be different varieties, like types of pond that come out in the future, because at the moment it's just the Lacusa pond. That's kind of the only brand, I believe, of this stuff. But my work uses this stuff, and it's not called Lacusa pond. So there will be different, hopefully cheaper brands of this coming out soon. I hope. Anyway. The only negative, like, it's really cool that I've turned this into 3 plants. Well, I didn't turn it into, it was already 3 plants. It's good that I divided this into 3 plants. But the one thing I don't really like about that is that now it's taken up 3 times the amount of space that it did. And like, I do have more space now, but you know, I want to try and use it wisely and not just fill it with divided plants that could all be in one pot. Having said that, I'm going to put these all back into one pot if these if the Lacusa pond works well. Let's take that off there for now. Okay, cool. So there's another one. Wicked. Right, okay, so that is good. I've got 2 in Leca, and so, like, somehow they look healthier now that they are like separated. Makes no sense because it's the same thing. And then I've got 1 in the soil again with all the little babies. I think I'm going to leave this video here because it's just got really long, and dealing with the trouble of this guy, I don't want to do it right now. I'll probably do that off screen because it's just going to take long and it's not going to be interesting. So I'll do that probably today, but I'll do it off screen. Cool. All right, I feel good about what I've done. This is definitely looking a lot better. And then the alocasias. That is beautiful. I really hope they do well, because like when they get big, they just look amazing. And then the Monstera adansonii cuttings. I'm going to put this in a propagator because it's just, I know it's not going to like what I've done to it. Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to leave that there. I hope you guys enjoy. Please do subscribe if you are enjoying these videos. And leave a like, comment if you want, say anything you like. Keep it kind. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.